Welcome to the Tower Talk podcast, a place for honest and open conversations to support you in living your best life from the inside out. Join me on this journey of self-discovery as we explore what it means to reach next level badassery and cut through the BS. So tune in, stay a while, and I promise I'll be right here alongside you as we figure this shit out together. When it comes to fitness, there are so many terms and acronyms that are used, and sometimes it can be so confusing. Now, I've been in this industry for so long that it's kind of second nature for me to speak and share with these terms, but I've realized that not everyone is like that. And it actually can be quite the hurdle when I'm trying to explain or share any fitness information, like what is an AMRAP or an EMOM? Don't worry, we'll get to those. So today I'm breaking down some common and not so common fitness terms that will help you better understand the fitness world. But first, I want to remind you that I'm running a special giveaway for anyone who leaves a rating and review for this podcast on Apple. It can take less than a minute, and it does so much to support the show in general. So all you have to do is leave a rating and review, screenshot your review, and send it to my assistant, Emily, at terralafrere.com so we can contact you if you win. And two of you will win a special prize. One will be $100 worth of Legion products, and the other one will be a $100 gift card to my favorite athletic wear brand. Thank you so much in advance. It means the most when you leave a very short review. We appreciate you so much. Now, back to fitness terms to know. Grab a pen and a journal, and let's dive in. First one, 1RM. Whenever you see this means 1 rep max. This is the maximum weight that you can lift for 1 repetition of an exercise. When you do a maximum lift, you should have nothing left for another rep. This should be RPE 10, percentage 100%. And when you know your 1 rep max, you can utilize that when you get into your programming and you use RPE or percentage-based training. I have a whole episode on this, but knowing that 1 rep max can enhance your whole programming experience and can make you a stronger athlete overall. Even if you don't know your 1 rep max, there's a really easy calculator that you can figure out. So let's just say you can hit 5 reps of an exercise, and that is like the maximum weight you can use for 5 reps. That's a really great way to test your 1 rep max, and there's just a calculator that I'll throw in the show notes for you to test out next time. The next one is PR. PR stands for personal record. This can be a personal record for anything. It could be a 1 rep max. It could be a workout that you do. You can hit a PR in how many pull-ups you can do or how many push-ups you can do in a row. It's just your own personal record. You are just competing with yourself. Next one, AMRAP. This acronym stands for as many reps or as many rounds as possible. An AMRAP workout is a type of high-intensity interval training where you push yourself as hard as you can during a working phase and rest minimally in between that. So an AMRAP can be anywhere from 5 to 25 minutes in length. And basically, you're just trying to go through the movements as quickly as you possibly can with very minimal rest. You might see this a lot in CrossFit or in a metcon, which stands for metabolic conditioning, where you're just kind of keeping the heart rate up the whole time. Another example of this is like a high rocks or a DecaFit competition, where the heart rate stays up and you're just trying to perform the exercises as quickly as you possibly can. Rather than focus on completing a number of specific repetition, the aim is to complete the maximum rounds as possible in that given time slot. A burnout set, you might also hear this as a to failure or to max, is a set of exercises or one exercise that is done typically at the end of a workout. Sometimes I'll give a burnout set for a core exercise or for a booty building exercise. And these sets target the same muscle group working during the main workout and are designed to encourage muscle growth. A lighter weight is usually used so you can complete a high number of exercise repetitions or hold for a longer period of time. For example, a burnout booty band thing that I would do, you'd have a booty band above the knees. Maybe you do glute bridges with it. So I would give 3 exercises. I'd say, okay, glute bridges. Then you're going to hold the top of the glute bridge. You're going to pulse your knees out. And then maybe you'd hold at the top and pulse your hips up. I've done this in classes a bunch in the past where we're trying to burn out the glutes as much as you possibly can after maybe a heavy deadlifts, heavy lunges, heavy squat sets. You can really feel that burn at the end of the workout. A circuit, I'm sure you've seen this a bunch before. A circuit consists of a series of exercises performed in in a sequence with short rest in between each exercise. A circuit can be timed or it can be rep-based. Typically, a circuit will have something between 10 and 60 seconds of rest in between each exercise and is seen in a lot of HIIT style training, which I'll talk about in a second. DOMS. You've probably heard DOMS a lot. This is a term that I've broken down in a previous episode all about recovery in DOMS, aka delayed onset muscle soreness. This is the pain or stiffness you experience 24 to 72 hours after a workout. It often happens if you tried new training style, dialed up the intensity, lifted heavier, tried a new variation. And keep in mind, you can have an amazing experience and work out with little or no muscle soreness as well. And again, if you want to hear more about DOMS, how to recover, and prevent this from happening, listen to the full episode. It's called Recovery and DOMS. There's a chockload of information all about that in that episode. I'll link it in the show notes as well. EMOM, not to be confused with your mom. Do you guys remember saying that in I would say maybe early 2000s? We'd be like, your mom. Yeah, it was such a stupid joke we said all the time. Anyways, EMOM stands for every minute on the minute. It's a type of interval training where you complete a certain number of reps within the minute, and then the rest of whatever time you have left is your recovery before the next time you go in. For example, I'll give you a quick and easy, dirty example of a 5-minute burpee EMOM. Yes, you heard the word burpee come out of my mouth. I actually have been doing a little bit more burpees because I've been going on it and taking some more classes, and they love burpees there. I'm not a huge fan. I'm going to be honest with you. Not a huge fan, but I will do them if they tell me to do them. And I will only do them if somebody else tells me to do them, but I'm never going to tell myself to do them. And I probably won't tell any of my clients to do them. Actually, I won't. So if you're a client of mine and you see a burpee, please yell at me. So let's just say it's a 5-minute EMOM for burpees and I'm giving you 10 burpees. So for example, I would set a 5-minute timer and I would do 10 burpees as fast as I can. Let's just say, for example, that takes me about 20 to 30 seconds to get done. The remainder of that minute is mine for rest. And then at the top of the next minute, so that clock is still running on minute 2, I would do 10 more, rest for the remainder, 5 minutes total. You can do that with so many different exercises. It's another really great kind of burnout, metabolic conditioning at the end of your training. You can also do this to increase repetition if you're trying to get better at an exercise. For example, if you want to get better at snatches, over cleans, squats, lots of stuff with kettlebells, swings, more repetitions make you better at the exercise. This does end up shortening the rest period. So if you're someone that wants to add on EMOMs but doesn't know kind of where to start, always think 30-30. So 30 seconds on and 30 seconds off would be the best place to start. So for example, if it takes you, 50 seconds to do 10 burpees in that first minute, I would suggest maybe you start with 5 and see how long that takes you. Next one, hypertrophy. It means the enlargement of an organ or tissue. And in this case, we're talking about muscle growth. I did a whole cert last year on Hypertrophy 101 to learn how to grow more muscles. And it was such an eye-opening experience to put into action when I'm programming for my clients that want to grow muscles, because they're designed to increase the size and strength of your muscles by focusing on increasing more time under tension or potentially completing higher number of repetitions within correct form to challenge your muscles and encourage growth. Now, these workouts can follow different structures, including supersets, trisets, pyramid sets, circuits, burnouts, all of that kind of stuff. And it complements strength training. And I'll go through all of those more in depth as well. But if your goal is to build muscle strength, you typically have heavier weights and complete less repetitions. And then hypertrophy training, the goal is to complete more repetitions using lighter weight, relying on strength and endurance rather than the momentum to complete exercise. I already explained what the circuit and burnout is, so now let's dive into the different types of sets. Now, superset is probably something that you've heard a bunch as well. This is where you alternate between 2 exercises with little or no rest in between each, but the rest comes at the end of the second movement. Supersets consist of exercises targeting similar or complementary muscle groups, depending on if you're trying to work and fatigue one particular area or have a full body workout that doesn't have much rest in between exercises. Supersets, trisets are also really great for people that are short on time. A couple examples of supersets. You can work bis and tris at the same time, especially if you don't have a ton of time. We can do like a bicep, a hammer curl, windshield wiper curl, Zopman curl paired with a skull crusher, tricep kickback, narrow push-ups, sphinx push-ups, something like that. And then you would rest after that second exercise and then go back through again. You can also do this with similar muscle groups. So for example, maybe you do a bench press with a push-up. Maybe you do a dumbbell bench with a chest fly, something like that, where we were really trying to burn out those pecs. We can do that in a tricep as well. Tricep is a combination of 3 exercises performed consecutively. It's like a superset, but we're just trying to make a more effective use of your training time. So same kind of thing here. We can add in 3 exercises back to back to back and then get that rest at the end of the set before we go again. Now, a pyramid set, this style of training is where you structure your sets and repetitions like a pyramid. It's big at the bottom and decreases as you move towards the top. As you move through the pyramid set, that you'll increase the weight while decreasing the number of repetitions. For example, gosh, you can do this with so many exercises, but let's just say we would do this with a squat. So maybe we are at 10 repetitions of squat at 100 pounds. Then you go down to 8 repetitions. So now we're at 120 or 110. Then you go to 6. And maybe we're at 140 or 150, something like that. So we're trying to increase weight and decrease reps there.
Hey talkers, are you on a journey to feel amazing in your own skin without any pressure or judgment? Well, let me help you fuel up for the ride. Enter Legion Athletics, your new fitness sidekick. These guys aren't just your average supplement company. They're like the supportive coach, Tara, who always has your back, no matter what. Whether you're aiming to feel stronger, more energized, or just a little more badass every day, Legion's got your back. And your biceps, and your abs, and your glutes. Well, you get the picture. Their products, well, let me tell you, they're like a treasure trove of goodness, meticulously crafted to nourish your body and enhance your performance without any unnecessary fillers or fluff. Plus, they taste so good, you'll actually look forward to chugging down your protein shake. And hey, if you're into science, you'll appreciate that Legion's formulas are backed by real research. There's no bro science here, just pure, sweet, sweet gains. So what are you waiting for? Embrace the journey to becoming the best version of yourself with Legion Athletics by your side. Head over to legionathletics.com now and use your code TARATALK for 20% off your first order and double loyalty cashback on every order after. That's TARATALK, TARATALK, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Okay, also, so a drop set. Some people confuse the pyramid sets with a drop set, but a drop set is when you perform a set of given strength exercise until muscle failure, and then you immediately reduce the weight and continue the same exercise without any rest until failure. So for example, this is a really fun one to do with a hip thrust. If you are wanting to grow your glutes and get better at hip thrusting, this is awesome. So basically you're trying to actually start with a heavy, heavy lift. So make sure you're warming up before you start it. Let's just say you're doing a hip thrust at 315 pounds and you're trying to do as many reps as you possibly can. So completely until failure. And then you would potentially have someone else do this so that you can actually stay underneath the bar. You would reduce the weight. So you could take off a 45 on each side. Hopefully someone else would do that for you. And you would do as many as you possibly can, again, till failure. And then you can actually take off the other 45, just have 135 on the bar, and then do as many as possible as you can there. A drop set is beastly and can definitely blow up your glutes, especially if you're wanting to do this with a hip thrust. But it's a really fun exercise to get that burnout feeling. Next one is a metcon. This is short for metabolic conditioning. Metcon is a powerful workout style that increases your breathing and heart rate with exercises designed to build muscle and improve your fitness. This style of training consists of strength training, usually done at high intensity, and it's an advanced training technique, but I do advise you to have some sort of baseline fitness before you give this one a try. You will probably hear metcon in CrossFit style workouts. I'm sure you've heard of the Nike metcon shoes. Metabolic conditioning. Typically, you'll see this as like your conditioning workout of the day, or maybe you have a metcon workout. That's like your WOD of the day. WOD stands for workout of the day. That's another one for you. And it's typically, again, at that really high intensity, keeping your heart rate pretty high the entire time. Not necessarily an AMRAP. I mean, it can be, but it could also look like a circuit as well. It's just metabolic. Plyometrics. Plyometrics, this one sounds fancy and scientific, but simply refers to some sort of jumping movements. Think squat jumps, box jump, lunge jumps, tuck jumps, burpees, ladder drills. I am personally a huge fan of plyometric training. I did a lot of it when I was in track and fields, when I was a sprinter in high school and college, but it's just fun to be able to still do that now in my 30s and be an athlete again. Not saying that means you're an athlete by doing plyometric type of training, but it is nice to be able to say that you are well-rounded, and to be able to jump and move side to side is really helpful in your training. No matter what exercise journey that you're on, being agile is super helpful. Compound exercises. The last solo episode I did was all about compound versus isolation exercises. So make sure you go listen to that one. I'll put it in the show notes as well. More in depth in explanation, but overall, these are compound exercises, are multiple muscle, multi-joint exercises, specifically squats, deadlifts, bench press, rowing. Those are your big main movements there. And then isolation is one muscle, one joint, typically like a bicep curl, tricep extension, and so forth. Again, we want those compound lifts more in the beginning of your workout and more of the accessory or isolation exercises at the end. Speaking of accessory exercises, accessories typically help build your compound lifts. So for example, maybe a rear delt or reverse fly could help you with your pulling motion, maybe help your pull-ups. A bicep curl actually can really help build your chin-ups. So those accessory movements help build those compound movements. HIIT, you'll see this a lot. HIIT, high intensity interval training. We probably all heard of this before, but this workout consists of several workout rest intervals. During the work interval, you work as hard as you possibly can, raising your heart rate to its maximum or pretty close to zone. And then during the rest, you're either completely resting or you're continuously moving at low intensity, allowing your heart rate to decrease because the goal is to get that heart rate right back up. So it's this like drop and lift is high intensity interval training. Shorter HIIT sessions can be just as effective as longer steady state workouts and are packed with benefits. So HIIT workouts can be done at home, at the gym, indoors. Like there's so many great benefits to adding them into your training, especially again, if you're short on time, you're a busy mom, busy entrepreneur, or just busy in general and want to get something good in. Doesn't have to be, a lot of people think that HIIT is like these burpees and squat jumps and running only. It can be a series of body weights, band, dumbbell exercises that you can kind of do at your own time. Typically in HIIT training, you would do anywhere between 10 and like that 60 seconds rest, like kind of with the circuit as well, but with allowing your heart rate to get back down. You may have also heard of LISS, low intensity steady state cardio, that typically involves slower aerobic activities like walking, jogging, cycling at a specific pace. It's quite the opposite of high intensity interval training. You want to keep your heart rate about 50 to 65% of your maximum heart rate, which is typically around zone 2 of heart rate training. Let me know if you want to hear more about heart rate training. I don't do a ton of that personally, but it's nice to be able to have a mixture of that zone 5, which is your high intensity interval training, your zone 3 or 4, which is more of the heavy strength lifts that you're doing, and then LISS, which is more of that zone 2. Zone 2 is really great for cardiovascular health and just endurance overall. I know I just threw a lot at you at once. I know that was like a lot of words and a lot of acronyms. If you need to go back, write these down, listen to this episode again. It is a shorty, so you can just listen and be like, oh, I'm going to remember that one. Hopefully these gave you some really great tips to add into your training, but I would also love to hear from you. Do you have any other acronyms or words that you hear in the fitness industry that you just like have no idea what they are? I would love to help you out. All you have to do is just send me a DM at the Tara Talk and also at Tara LaFerrera. I'll create a post to break it down and explain. And I make sure to explain all of these in my workout program so my clients are never left confused and wondering what the fuck could this possibly mean? So if you're interested in one-on-one coaching or joining my TL Method group program, I would absolutely love to have you. I make sure that you feel strong and confident in your workouts and out of your workouts and know exactly what people are talking about when they say, I just did some lists today. Yeah, me too. Just walked around the block at zone 2. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. Again, please rate and review. I would absolutely love to hear from you and hope you're having a great day. Thanks for coming to this Tara Talk. I hope you're taking something away from this episode, and if so, I would love to hear about it. You can connect with me at The Tara Talk and at Tara LaFerrara on Instagram. A few ways you can help support the show and help spread the word. You can share it on Instagram, tag at The Tara Talk and at Tara LaFerrara. Send an episode to a friend, and please leave a review if the show is resonating with you. It takes just a few minutes, and it means so much to help this show grow, and it helps me to continue to bring on badass guests for all of us to learn and grow from. I am so happy you're here and excited to be on this journey with you. Until next time, be a badass with a good ass.